Hi, welcome to the weekly roundup of indie publishing news and stuff brought to you by the Self-Publishing Roundtable. I'm Erica Conroy, and you can find my website at ericaconroy.com, and I'm joined today by Chrishaun Keller.
Hello.
Hi, Chrishaun.
I'm Chrishaun Keller, handler of the Alizar universe. I'm at alizar.com. And
we're also joined today by a special guest, author Zoe York.
Hi. I'm Zoe, and I don't know how to use the internet some days.
That's okay. It's okay. Right. Let's get straight into it then. So, some stuff has been happening in the industry, and it's all things Nook and Barnes & Noble at the moment. So usually it's Amazon dominating the headlines because they just put everything out like all the time. But this past week, Barnes & Noble have stepped into the limelight, and while they're basically shutting some things down. So on 15th of March, they will no longer offer third-party Android apps from their app store, but you can still get them elsewhere. And they no longer provide digital content, so ebooks or the reading app for Android to people in the UK. So this might have something to do with their reported 33% decrease in Nook and ebook sales from the last quarter. But what about the short notice? And what's of that? What do you have to think about it, Zoe? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the short notice is like, I mean, that just screams urgent business decision. I don't know, like, do they have like bills coming? Like they just couldn't like renew their web hosting or something? I don't know. I don't know what to make of it other than it was maybe a decision that they were hoping not to make. And then, like often that's the case, like with bankruptcies and that sort of thing. I mean, you don't hear about it until it's like for sure done because they tried at the last minute to like avoid it. I mean, I've never tried to buy ebooks in England. I don't know what that marketplace is like. I do know that I'm Canadian. And so our ebook marketplace is very different than in the States. Kobo is a much bigger player here.
Yeah.
And and so I just don't know. I don't know what it means, but I find regularly Barnes & Noble business practices perplexing.
What about you, Chrishaun? What do you think?
Oh, I'm looking through here on the financial information that they had here. Said that their sales were 1.4 billion with a B billion, decreasing 1.2% due to lower online sales and store products. If you dig a little lower here, they excluding the Nook products, they actually increased 1.3%. So that means that to them, at very least, the Nook sales on the Nook, the apps, and the digital media are the albatross around their neck. It's the thing that's sinking. If they're sinking, it's the online stuff that's that brick that's around their neck and dropping them to the bottom of the ocean here. I also looked a little further into these financial numbers, and yeah, like you said, it decreased 33.3%, and there was losses of 11.2 million. And their outlook is trying to increase their sales by 1%, that 11 million ish, and they're going to do that by finally putting the coffin nail into the Nook products. But we knew that they were going to be doing that for the past, 2 years? They slowly stopped supporting the Nook. And now this is just a way of them to slowly do it without a bleed. They're trying. Go ahead.
They tried to sell Nook for like a while there, and there were no takers.
Right, because their upload, from what I understand, is very difficult. Their search, from what I understand, their search is horrible. There are people who actually know who were on Barnes & Noble Nook. I couldn't find their books, and usually it's just plugging in the name of it or the author's name, and it was very difficult. It was hard to find actual genres on there.
Yeah, and then you also get the kids who get kicked out of chat rooms, get their chat rooms blocked at school when they're at school on the computers, so they start role-playing in the review sections of random books. I mean, that's really ingenious for them, but it's really fucking annoying for the author. Go and look.
Crazy. And I'm wondering why they just don't simply pull the plug. I mean, on all of it. Instead of just doing it here or there, take the hit and then work on improving their sales. Because it's obvious, and it's been obvious for years, that Nook was not working. It was a rushed product in the beginning as he tried to go up against the Kindle, and it was not well thought through. And instead of affecting the lives of people who are trying to make a living doing this and investing a lot of time and energy to get over the learning curve to get on the Nook store, trying to promote that, they should really just end it. This is like a long relationship that you're still talking on the phone and you still want to talk about it when it really should have been over a very long time ago.
Well, I think the fact that they're still kind of running Nook, and now just in America, it almost says like they're afraid to get rid of that digital presence just in case the physical one starts to have a problem. I mean, because they still say that they are closing stores, just not as fast as what they were doing it previously. So it almost sounds like, oh, we'll keep it there just in case.
Right. And I like a comment here from Quoting Light who says pulling the plug would be bad for brand perception and may hurt the rest of Barnes & Noble that can be rescued. I can understand that, but having said that too, the bookstore, as we know it, the mega bookstore is dead. It truly is. How many bookstores have we had? Books A Million here in the United States, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Walton Books. Except for Barnes & Noble, they're already gone. And we already know that digital or getting books online is the primary way most of us get our books anymore, unless you're in grad school. Go ahead.
So there's two different marketplaces, right? Mm-hmm. So here in Canada, we have like our primary national book chain is called Chapters/Indigo. It's two companies that merged.
I know Chapters.
It's a pretty successful business.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what they don't sell? A lot of books. Like Chapters is the go-to place if you're looking for a really nice present, like you're going to like someone's party and you want to bring them something like swank. Yeah. You go and you get them like a nice my blanket, the one I'm sitting on. See this?
Oh, it's nice.
Lovely. It's like lovely. Shearling on one side, it's like on the other. It was like kind of expensive, but it was like a birthday present for myself. Like they have the loveliest journals. They've got gift cards, like knickknacks for your shelves. Like you want like a big ass mug with your initial on it, you go to Chapters and you get that, and they're doing a bang up job of selling. Like they've turned into a really large gift store. And you know what books they sell there? Books you give as gifts.
Right.
Not books that people read, but books that you give as gifts. Either they pass it around. And I think it's an important distinction that the books that people buy themselves are more and more being bought online. But books are also a gift, and it's hard to like, here's a gift card so that you can go buy a Zoe York book. That's not how that works, right? You still give someone like a physical thing, and the physical thing you're giving it just as much for the for what it looks like and what it feels like as what's inside. Sometimes almost entirely for what it looks like and how it looks on your shelf, and so there's a Barnes and Noble. So did Barnes and Noble have physical stores in the UK?
As far as they used to.
Don't know.
Let's ask
Been a while since I've been there. I don't remember seeing it while I was there.
Any UK viewers at the moment who can? I mean, I think that's one reason why they could, cleave off that business is. I think that someone who made the comments of, this is like a perception thing. They have to be perceived to be in, the modern book selling marketplace in the US. Mm-hmm. But in the UK, if the Nook venture is just costing them money, and I know that you guys discussed Walmart last week, right?
Mhm.
But one of the things that keeps coming up when I hear people talking about Walmart is just how expensive it is to do that live delivery of files, right? That's hugely expensive to maintain that kind of a database. And so I could see how that wouldn't be profitable unless you've got enough traffic to justify it. Whereas in the States, it's more complicated because they need to maintain, a brand presence while they figure out how to make these bricks and mortar stores profitable. I think that there's definitely a way that the bricks and mortar stores could be possible. Or I don't know, maybe Americans don't like to buy, overpriced coffee mugs for each other, but it's super popular here. So.
To answer your question, yes, there are. There's a couple in London. There are, but the presence isn't anywhere near like it is currently now in the U.S. Number one, and number two, that's pretty much where Barnes and Noble is going. There's a Barnes and Noble not too far from my home, and it's one of those big flagship flat iron buildings, on the corner, and they sell gifts. They have a Starbucks in there, and they sell things like 3D printers and calendars. Right?
Ooh, 3D printers.
Yes, they do.
Different.
Yes, my father-in-law almost bought one for himself and for me. Because
I got to say, in New Zealand, the bookstores are going the same way. If it's a chain bookstore, every time I walk past one, the main one is usually Whitcoulds, and then there's Paper Plus. And I walk past and I go, oh, we don't need to go and look in the stationery and gift store today because, we don't need any stationery. And it's, and they have a cafe too. And it seems every time they renovate, the book section gets smaller and smaller. First, the shelves got shorter, and then they got spaced out a bit more, and then it's less, it's all front out kind of stuff. It's just crazy. But there's so many. There's Lego you can buy there. There's like the journals you said, wrapping paper, gift cards. They've always had wrapping paper and gift cards, but it's just crazy what else they're adding to it now. But I would love for there to be a 3D printer.
But the thing is that it is no longer a bookstore.
Yeah.
It is a department store.
Yeah.
And Barnes and Noble's financial report, which we'll also link to on the website tomorrow when we release the page, it actually specifically states that the reason why their core sales minus the Nook stuff has increased by 1 point something percent is due to adult coloring books.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone has increased sales because of book sales because of that. The gifts and the stationery. So it's not even it'd be really great if we could find out how much of the product that they're actually selling are books compared to everything else.
Okay.
So even they're admitting they're going that way.
And it doesn't make any sense to hang on to an aspect of their business that just isn't working well. And in the end, that's what it is. I'm not saying that they should close shop. No, they should not. I love my Barnes & Noble, even though it's a department store now. But it is. But they really should be focused on what's working instead of trying to hold on to a perception that we're this one-stop shop for books when they're really not anymore.
Another thing I did see on that financial report is that I think, Chrishaun, that you mentioned that their online presence specifically, they said that they would be looking at improving their website, which is like, yay, but we don't know how they're going to improve it and if it actually does improve or if it causes us more issues.
And what exactly is improving? How do you define that exactly? Because it's not the second largest search engine in the world. Let's just say that.
No. I think just improving the search function would probably go a long way to helping Nook out there, essentially.
Yes. And maybe some work on their database. Maybe a little.
Maybe they need a donate button. Shall we move on to the next subject? So we've Writer Beware and a few other websites have recently been commenting on yet another potential scam targeting indie authors. This one is called A&M Publishing, and it's from author Steve Elton, a best-selling author, apparently Steve Elton, and is the latest pay-to-play service on the block. So far, the catalogue only consists of Steve's books, and they intend to use Steve's leverage as a best-selling published author to get beginning authors' books into physical stores, but they don't promise that they can. So this, along with the publishing, editing, ISBN getting, and all the other items required, will cost you, the author, at least $7,995 American dollars. But if you want print books or even a trailer, that'll cost you a lot more. So what do you guys have to think about Steve, A&M Publishing, or just other pay-to-play services in general? Who wants to start?
Oh, that's awful. I mean, it's just, yeah, that's it. I'm just like speechless. Chrishaun can go.
I'm really, when it comes to this, I am really trying hard to be the church-going woman that I am, trying to be Christian about this, trying not to cuss so hard about this.
Oh, go for it. You can cuss. We don't mind.
Because just the response, the flame war that happened.
To be specific, Chuck Wendig, another best-selling author, caught wind of this, and after mentioning Admiral Akbar, which he goes on to reference multiple times thereafter in his blog post, picks apart what A&M Publishing were offering, and then Steve decides to reply multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Very professionally.
Right. Okay, let me start with this. My writer friends, hear me. You will have to pay to self-publish, all right? You will have to pay for your editing. You will have to pay for your cover. You will have to pay for advertisement. Yes, you will have to do that. Do not be delusioned that you won't have to. But under no circumstance do you pay a publisher. Because a publisher gets paid from the books they sell due to their efforts on your behalf. Period. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who says, "Oh, I need $8,000 to put your book together and put it out there," is lying from you and is stealing from your pocket. Period. All right. Even if, and this is what Steve says, he has a big following, and what he's doing is leveraging his mailing list in your benefit. All of that, that's nice. He should have that and using that to get his revenue, not from the author.
Mm-hmm.
You do not pay a publisher, period. And so I'm going to, and hit all this justification that he put on there on during that little flame war they had, and all the people, very smart people who were trying to do the math, and he just couldn't see it because he wants to defend his position. That's okay. That is not what this business is about. You are in a business for yourself, and you hire people like the publishing company to do things on your behalf, and they take their pay from their work that they do for you, not from you.
You should only pay somebody if you decide to act as your own publisher, right? That's the key distinction. Self-publishing is not paying someone else to publish your book for you. If someone publishes your book for you, they are the publisher and they take on that risk. If you self-publish a book, then you are your own publisher and you only pay people for, pay per service reasonable amounts for work that they do for you.
Right.
You get to choose them. I mentioned in the emails to Erica beforehand about Kobo, and that you guys have already discussed the audiobooks that they're now offering through there. And that's what gets me about almost any author service, be it through an agent or something more egregious like this most recent listing. But the more egregious it is, the fewer authors are going to fall for it, right? It's on the same sliding scale as some services that seem on the face of it maybe like not such a bad deal, you know, but those still worry me because there's still somebody else choosing how you, as the publisher, spend your money. No. You choose how you spend your money when you're the publisher, you know? And I really, I think that there are more of those verging on scammy offers out there than the more obvious, super scammy ones, right? Mm-hmm. They all deserve dick punches, you know? Right. I have no problem cursing, so. Dick punches for all.
Amen for the dick punches. And the thing is that this is the not so super scammy offers. It seemed very attractive because this can be a very overwhelming prospect. Not only write the book, but to make all the major decisions is something that many people, and especially Americans, they're not used to doing. They're used to working for someone else making the decisions. They do what they're supposed to do and they get a paycheck. Entrepreneurialism, and especially in the creative endeavor, means a lot of decisions. 75% of the decisions you have to make are outside the actual creative pursuit. Right. And it can be overwhelming and folks don't want to deal with it. That's right. A lot of people who would be great writers do not want to self-publish because they don't want to get into that. Or they look at this and say, oh, I can have somebody else take care of that. And all I have to do is write, because the dream is always you're writing on the back porch or on your boat and somebody else takes care of all the little stuff. That isn't a reality. That it truly is not a reality. The success in this business comes as a direct result of your hard work. And you cannot pay a super path to get into the front of the line for that. You absolutely cannot. And do not believe anyone who tell you that they can. Yeah. Honestly. Oh, good. I did that without cursing. Except for the dick punch, which is totally deserved. Oh, goodness. Oh, Lord.
Do we have anything else to add about scammy stuff, or Steve in particular, or Chuck, or how it went down? I just think it also shows, because I mean, Steve as an author is replying to these comments. It's almost like when we say don't reply to the reviews, he just keeps going back and back and back, and look. I mean, he called Chuck Chuckster. I mean, he started right out the bat with "fuck you."
Right. He started with the whole, his ego got in the way and hot-wired his mouth, and he went to sarcasm and condescension, because that's the last resort of folks who really don't have an argument, truly. And it's just, why are you defending this? Why don't you just say, yes, I'm making money on people's streams? Because I guarantee you there's still people knowing full well what they're getting into will still pay for it. And will it be as many? No, but at $8,000 a pop, you don't need all that many, truly. So,
but if I had $8,000,
yes, it was $7,995.
I had that much money. Imagine all the books I could make on my own. That much money. Shit, man, I should buy how many book clubs?
Oh my goodness, I haven't spent $8,000 on all the books that are actually in my chute right now. And that includes editing and very nice art and very nice covers. I haven't spent $8,000 yet.
I wonder if I have.
But it's a like you say, it's shocking and so unprofessional that he went onto Chuck's blog, because it violates the just the social understanding that people are allowed to bitch about things in their own space. And when you are acting like a professional, when you put on the front of a publishing company, be it because you're the author or because you're an actual publisher, like the president of Kensington last summer or the summer before, he went on a rampage on a couple of blogs, and it was just like,
yeah, J.A. Congress wasn't one of them.
Stupid. Yeah. And like yesterday on Facebook, I posted something about Sam Hunt, the country singer who sometimes talks.
Yes.
And I was just like, I mean, Sam, I still want to have your babies. Like, you're super hot. Don't worry about that. But I don't know how I feel about the singing. Can you imagine if he like commented and was like, well, I like it just fine. It's like, that's not the point, you know? Like, once you put something out into the world, you have to be silent while people discuss it.
Yes.
You can't get involved in the debate yourself.
No, because once you put something out there, it's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You get paid for it, but it belongs to them. They make it their own, and they are free to comment about it as long as they don't slander you. And even if you do, even if they do, they still have a bit of space in order to say that, because they're talking out of ignorance. But you don't act ugly like that.
No.
Don't do it. You let them have their moment. You understand that they are commenting on this very thin part of you that they know, and keep rolling. Oh my goodness.
Okay, should we calm down now and just quickly go to our last topic?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's used these. I know I haven't, but Amazon is now including ebooks in their special giveaways. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Will you use it? What do you think, Zoe?
I can't, and neither can you,
No.
because it's geographically restricted to the United States. So, Amazon, screw you. That's what I say.
Well,
I would use
As the American on the board. As the wild gun toting American on the board, America. I really do like this. It's another good step in terms of discoverability. And you can see this is another part of the stack that Amazon is using to keep their catalog of indie publishers inside the Amazon family. A lot of people are complaining about discoverability, being able to go wide. And so they're leaving, and they're giving Amazon is listening little by little and giving them another way to be discovered. And I do like that. But yeah, you need to make it worldwide if you're going to be effective. Screw you, Amazon.
Because what was it? Because in New Zealand, we don't even have access to Kindle Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's rolling out slowly, but it hasn't gotten here yet.
In Canada, they do not have. You have KDP, but you don't have ACX, correct?
Yeah. So we, I have audiobooks, so there are ways around that. But yeah, ACX is only available to Americans, Brits. I want to say one or two more European countries. Yeah, it's so super weird. Super weird, because it's an Amazon subsidiary. We can use CreateSpace, we can use KDP, but ACX and Kindle World are two Amazon sub-programs that only pay out to American bank accounts.
Yes. So
for international authors that want to use either of those, they need to use an intermediary to process those payments. So that's what I do.
Oh, I hope your rates are very low.
My rates?
Yes.
You mean the internet? Yeah, I'm not paying. Like they just take a small little bit.
Okay.
And as soon as ACX, like they're not my publisher, I'm my own publisher. I just use their EIN and their banking information in my own account. Right. So as soon as ACX opens up, I can just replace that with my own banking information. I figure it's like I had that account set up. I set it up in 2014, and I didn't use it until this year when I was like, I'm at the point where I could use some write-offs against my income. So I was like, okay, well, let's make some audiobooks. That's a good long-term investment.
Yes.
And at this rate, like, it doesn't matter how much I'm making on it. Like, you're never going to pay off that investment. Write-off. But yeah, so that's why I did it, was because I could use the write-off. I would have that then, that passive income forever and ever and ever. And I am banking on the fact that eventually they'll open it up. If they don't, then I'm going to have to get an American bank account.
Right. And yes, exactly. That is what you need $8,000 for. See,
yeah.
Supposed to be spending that $8,000.
Also, some people have gone ahead and already tested out how this works. So it seems very similar to how you do any Amazon giveaway with any other product. They were specifically testing to see if they bought their own product to use as a giveaway, if that would still turn up in their sales charts, affect their rankings, and also get them royalties. Yes, this does happen. So yay, for American authors. And also, even if you buy someone copies of someone else's book, ebook to give away, the same will happen for them. They will get the sales rankings, the royalties, etc. So it seems like it would be a really good one for visibility. And I don't believe it's tied to select either, so it can be people who've gone wide too, which is nice.
Yes.
If you're in America.
American. I'm not sure I understand why that is exactly, but anyway, yeah, I tried. I clicked on the button and I was told, sorry, not you.
Geographic region.
Oh goodness, we have covered a lot in our little time. It's amazing how fast this time wraps up.
Especially when you get really passionate and grrr.
Right.
About something.
Yes, and I get all texting and roar. Yes, that's what happens. We burn a lot of time.
Yeah, so we've run out of time basically, as Chrishaun said. Thank you heaps to Zoe York for coming in. Where can people find you on the internet?
ZoeYork.com.
Excellent, and thank you again to Chrishaun for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Yep, and tomorrow at noon EST time, we will have the page live, which will have all the information we've shared here, along with all of the relevant links, so you can go check them out. Also, go to our website to find out about our usual Thursday podcast, where we interview and discuss things with authors who are doing unique and interesting things. And the website for that is selfpublishingroundtable.com. I'm Erica Conroy. Thank you very much, people.
Bye.
Bye.